Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. I am the Schiller man talking about NFTs and stuff on this webcam. You know the song I'm talking about, right? Black Sabbath. I think it's Iron Man. Anyway, welcome to another edition of XFeed. What's up? My name is Schiller. Talking about NFTs and all that kind of jazz for quite some time, and the market never seems to disappoint. Neither does the collectible card game. When you get them in person, you don't have to deal with all the shenanigans. So today we're going over some of the stuff that happened on the weekend again, as you know, we went over it a little bit yesterday. If you want the full debacle around the Trump coin, then be sure to check that out. We're going to go over some history within the NFT space that you might have forgotten about. We're going to talk a little bit about abstract, a little bit about a content series that I'm building out, a little bit about security, a little bit about absolutely everything. And I'm totally how in the halibut are you? First question. Have you ever gone to a place? In Canada, we have this spot called Captain George's. It's one of the only spots, apart from like your mainstream restaurants, that is like exclusively fish oriented. I don't know if you've ever had like the deep fried cheese curds. Holy smokes, that with a little bit of haddock on the side, not too shabby. All right, let's jump into things, and I'm Tolly. Thanks so much for coming through. So before we begin, this is your daily stream reminder that you got to watch out for security concerns. Now, this is beyond Buffalo Space coming through with a fat 33 months. Yo, sir. It's a buffalo soldier. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Yo, we're talking about fish already. I'm Tolly's calling fish men. You guys are crazy. But as per usual, again, you're on the timeline. You're not clicking on comments. You're ignoring every DM. Even if it's from me, just block me. That's fine. We can figure it out later. Just be super aware. So Loopify had their account access locked. We've seen this even happened for some massive NFTs. I forget the abstract name of it. It was like Ryu. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you see it, but it was one of the main collections on abstract that's coming up. Their account was compromised. We have Loopify compromised. We have people that then are going in the comments and just attacking these teams saying, oh, your account's not secure. Guys, maybe I'm talking out of line, but this has happened so frequently with so many accounts that I think this is just a platform issue. This isn't necessarily about individual security. Maybe these are all getting social engineered, and I'm wrong with that assumption, right? Maybe everybody's just a big dumb idiot and everybody's getting their account compromised because of it. But I think it's just a platform, so be super careful. If you are not aware of something that's coming out, please ignore it. Nothing in this day and age is happening kind of in the moment, if you will. So I've been building out a podcast series with the team over at Segmint regarding RWAs, regarding just awesome crypto builders in general. This recent week's episode was from Nikki G, who's building something on abstract. Now, the clip that we snagged from this is actually talking about Epic Games, and I think this is going to be relatable for a lot of you guys because we've seen a lot of games that are blockchain based announcing we're coming on Epic Games. I mean, this is also something very much for Steam, and you always have the question, or at least I did, of like, how hard is it to actually bring a blockchain game on a major platform like this? Here's the answer.
To be honest, it's not super challenging to get onto Epic Games. There's like a lot of KYC and a lot of diligence and time in terms of like what you're actually building and what kind of game you're bringing out there. But it's not super hard to get on. It's more of a rail for people to trust what you're doing, because I could tell you, like, games have asked me to try their game and it's like, yeah, go to our website and download XYZ. And in the day and age that we're in, nobody wants to do that. Even like games that I would trust, I don't want to throw names out there, but
I'll throw them under the bus.
Games where I have to download a client from their website and they're popular and well known, I still feel a little bit anxious about downloading stuff like that. I'm like, maybe I'll just go download it from Epic Games, because I know Epic Games is secure and I know it's more secure than me going direct. The big advantage there was when we were in our super early stages, and I would still say we're still in those stages. It's a big advantage when somebody comes to us and says, hey, we saw what you're doing. We're interested and we kind of want to test it out. Are you going to send us a link, or how's this going to work? Because before we got on Epic, we actually did send out, it was like one of those shareable websites, and it creates a link, and then we sent out those links and people were like, yeah, not sure I want to download a test game like this. I'm like, guys, like I'm fully doxxed. Like everyone knows who I am. I'm like, I promise you I'm not trying to do anything here. So it was a lot harder. And then as soon as Epic came around, people were like, here's my Epic ID, give me a code, done. And then bang, we had testers.
Bang! We had testers. Drew! So there's some insights from Nikki G. We also get into conversations around just jumping and trying to build something in the crypto space. If you don't have an NFT or you're not in the community already, there's a lot of weird things that you find within that, but it's a really fun episode. If you want to check out in the YouTube description below or on my X profile, or check out the Segment account itself, you'll find the podcast on there. So something I've been doing on my personal time as well, if you guys have seen, is conversations around the Root Network. It's something we've been covering for a while, and we're kind of at a point where there's a lot of builders, but there's not really like a lot of information about them. And I'm wanting to be able to provide a spot where you can see people who are building face to face. You can see how they talk about things, the confidence that they instill in you. We're at a point, talking a second ago to the clip with Nikki G, we're saying back in the day, if you were doxxed, that was a big deal. And now it's like, it feels like you can only really operate if you're doxxed, but we still don't see people face to face. Sure, we can see names out there and whatnot, but I think that there's a big advantage to being able to actually hear and see from them talking at the same time. Now, this is a conversation with Shen. We're playing like literally like a minute, 2 minutes of this. We're not going through the full 30 minutes, but Shen is somebody who's building a lot on the Root Network. He mentions within this interview how they have support from Ripple, how they're working with AI agents, how they're building out all these different frameworks and things to help support the network. And it's a really, really fun interview. So I'm going to play like maybe 2-3 minutes of this, but I would love for you guys to check this out, whether again, you check on my various pages. This was a very recent upload. So here is Shen and Amanda coming through on the 48 months. Holy smokes. We got Buffalo. We got Amanda coming through. Guys, I appreciate your support. Again, anyone else that's out there, if you happen to have Amazon Prime, you do get a free Twitch Prime sub. Okay, let's get into the quick interview with Shen. Again, we're not playing the whole thing. Smell that? It's alpha. Shen Morencome is the co-founder and CEO of Gen 3 Games and has been driving innovation on the XRPL since 2021. Under his leadership, the company launched its flagship game, Zertmon, which quickly became the most actively played game on the XRPL, redefining how users engage with XRP and driving increased on-chain participation. At the beginning of 2024, Shen expanded his efforts to the Root Network, where he spearheaded the launch of Tradeverse. Okay, I don't want to derail the conversation, but I'm about to. You can see in this bottom here, there's been this big question around where Featureverse highlighted that they had a partnership with Tencent, and then there was literally nothing that was brought up about that at all. And this is the first time that I've seen the logo. It's available on the Root Network site. We have the Warner Brothers logo in there, Ready Player One, which you know, Alibaba Cloud, Unreal Engine, Reebok, Ripple itself. Thought that was interesting. First, the ecosystem's premier NFT marketplace and native DEX. He's now at the forefront of building in the AI agent space, leveraging his expertise across both XRPL and the Root Network to bring agents to the XRP ecosystem. You've now been on Paul Barron. You're now the go-to guy for everything Root Network related because everybody's seen you guys do Gen 3 Games, Tradeverse, the whole announcement around Untamed Isles, which looks very interesting. And I just have to say, first of all, thank you for being around because I think you've gotten a ton of praises and we're really excited to have you within the Root Network. But do you feel that there is almost too much going on within what you're doing, or do you think this is what's needed because there's so many gaps to fill right now with what's going on with the Root Network?
It's a great question. I think half and half. Like, I'm someone who loves to be coming up with new things, working on new things, pushing boundaries, that sort of stuff. So, I mean, for us, there's always going to be something new that we're working on, something new and shiny, that improves our ecosystem and the ecosystem around us. But I don't think there are enough builders in the ecosystem. There needs to be more teams doing the same thing that we're doing to the same quality that we're doing around us. Like, we don't view that as competition. Like, we understand that the ecosystem needs that right now. So I think, yeah, we're always going to be working on quite a large product suite of things that we think are great for the ecosystem. But I do think there needs to be many more teams like us doing the same thing.
All right, so there's a little bit of Shen. Again, if you want to check out the full videos, they are across the various channels. Okay, from the segment, which we were highlighting in the podcast a moment ago, the Adventurers are coming to Abstract. Unlike the previous Adventure collections on ETH and Polygon, the Abstract Adventurers collection will have a limited supply. All current OGs and elite Abstract role holders are whitelisted for this mint. And yo, Jeremy!
JVB gone honestly toxic on us.
Yo, no, that's crazy. Yo, Stately Wade Manor's in here too. That was first. Listen, I saw Yo Jeremy, but Stately did it at exactly the same time. Hold on, what do we got here?
Congrats on the thing, by the way. Not sure if you're sharing here.
Yo, congrats on the thing. Yeah, so I am engaged now, so thank you very much, Yo Jeremy. What a gem. And Stately, JVB getting toxic. That's what he does. I really want to sit down and play Rivals. I haven't done it in like 2 to 3 days. So if you're out there rocking and rolling later tonight, let me know, good sir. And I'm down. Hopefully Yo Jeremy's as well. She's how Yo Jeremy doing me dirty on that? Yeah, I mean, listen, that's insane. So regarding the segment mint here, talking about the whitelist, I was talking with Matt, who's the CEO before, and we might have some whitelists available for you guys. We're looking at doing a stream or maybe a pre-recorded video. We're kind of in debate about that Thursday afternoon or Friday at some point. So if you are watching the streams and you are interested in potentially getting a whitelist for this, it is going to be a free mint. I mean, maybe reach out to me on Discord if you guys are connected with me, and I can try to hook you up specifically for that. But that's something that's likely to come on a little bit later in this week. And, Jeremy, now that Trump is president, we're back to calling them whitelists. Yeah, no, that's crazy. Ripple outlist. True. These adventures will play a key role in the Segment ecosystem, so we're sure you'd want to get in on it. We're also opening collabs now. If you want your communities to get whitelist, DM us or open a ticket in our Discord. A lot of whitelist communities and more details about the mint will be announced in the coming week. Keep your noties on. True. So, again, looking forward to that a little bit later. And if you're trying to get in that, let me know. Not to spoil the next week, but we have done an interview for next week's podcast that's going to be releasing, and it was with the people from Revoke Cash. Now, I don't want to spoil the episode because I think it's really insightful, but one thing that I was genuinely kind of shocked about is, anybody that's building in the crypto space, you kind of have to have like funding of some sort, right? Now, whether this is an entity on the Web 2 side, whether it's trying to do your own mints, whether it's having something built in your protocol, offering a service, having people pay for it, that is, usually something that's very front facing and you can tell. Now, when you think of Revoke Cash, you're probably like, well, hold on, there's nothing that you can do in terms of paying. And for anybody that's not familiar with Revoke Cash, is let's say that you go to a new site and you sign in with your wallet and you're like, you know what? I don't trust this. I want to revoke the ability that I've given for permission on this. You can typically go to MetaMask and just disconnect from the site. But if you accept approval for transferring an NFT collection on a various marketplace like OpenSea, Blur, etc., you actually can't officially remove that unless you go to Revoke.cash and actually create a transaction to remove that approval. So if somebody gets scammed on a certain collection, the wallet itself might not necessarily be compromised if you revoke that approval, because otherwise that approval is still there for it. So in talking with the founder, whose name's Roscoe Callis, super cool guy to talk to, he actually went in length about how there's different ecosystems like Optimism and Arbitrum, I think, and I might be wrong on the exact names, but these ecosystems are actually out there and providing funding for them, even though Revoke.cash is on like 100+ different networks. So it was really cool to see kind of behind the scenes how they're operating. I asked them what they could do if they had unlimited funding right now, and they actually had some crazy answers for it. So hope you guys enjoy that episode that's coming out next Tuesday. So you guys see me on here, right? And you're like, all right, this absolute fish stick is talking about NFTs. One of the part-time gigs that I have is actually doing basketball and volleyball commentary. So I thought I would play it here just so you guys can kind of see, but I'm the voice behind doing stuff for this team. So here's a few clips from it.
Forrester just pokes that away for an easy layup, and wow. Now Callahan the other way, sends it to Forrester, who's wide open for a three, and off the backboard. Momentary, but Gwen Forrester wanted to put up another triple on the board before so. Lemaire gets the basket, it's going to be White, swings it to Forrester, Forrester puts it up, and Gwen Forrester. Callahan goes for a wide shot to Forrester in the three, and wow, what a pass, Callahan! Forrester, bucket!
Yo, there you go. So there's some of the fun stuff. What Schiller on TNT? I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can rock and roll with the big dogs on that, but it is fun to do that. And I hope you guys like seeing a little bit of insight on that other piece. Okay, so the Root Network, they made, I guess, like a roadmap for this year. I don't know if this is, we call it a roadmap or just some things that are coming, maybe shortly, maybe a little bit later. But the Root Network is gearing up for an incredible 2025. With cutting-edge features and a focus on inter-chain connectivity, decentralization, and growth, this year will set new standards in the open metaverse. So quickly running through the things here, the rewards program, dynamic rewards program that incentivizes users and builders across the Root Network ecosystem, ensuring contributions to the network such as liquidity and transactions are both recognized and rewarded. So this is one of the things right now, Tito's, what's going on? Good to see you. One of the things that's kind of a problem with the Root Network right now is that there's not proper liquidity on there. So if you're trading, sometimes most of the time, it's actually easier to bridge to ETH, make the transfer of the various tokens in the Root Network and Futureverse ecosystem, and then go back to Root. So this is awesome to see. The pass attribution. This sounds kind of spicy. A novel protocol that creates rewards for the lifetime value of users that partners and brands onboard onto the Root Network and drive monthly active wallets. So this is like almost like an incentive program on top of an incentive program where potentially these people are getting rewarded for life for bringing somebody on to the network, which is a crazy concept. Vortex payouts on chain. So if anybody's staking on the Root Network, basically you stake Root, and whenever there's a transaction that happens, a percentage, it's like 0.03% of every transaction, whether it be NFTs, crypto, list goes on, gets sent to this Vortex, and it's basically a basket of tokens that unwind that get paid out every 90 days. So transition the Vortex payout distribution to a full automated and decentralized process. Learn more about the Vortex, etc. Substrate upgrade, gas fee optimization, IBC protocol, enhancing cross-chain interoperability through the inter-blockchain communication protocol. Where the hell is Silo? We got decentralized governance and a couple different things in there. So quick run through. Very nice. Excited to see what all of that brings. And just again, the pass attribution, that is specifically what I'm interested in. Okay, so there's crypto top signs everywhere. Now, this is 2 days ago, obviously with the meme coin and all that crazy stuff. Defo, some nice charts around still, but irregardless of that, I think we're at the stage of the cycle where it'll be prudent to take some chips off the table. So it's caused all sort of emotions over what happened on the weekend. But Income Sharks had this funny comment saying, I'm ready to rebrand to stocks only. This is not what we needed. Now, the only takeaway that I really have, and there's probably more, but off the top of my head, is that when you get reactions from people, that is something to watch, because most people kind of go about their day and they're like, you know what? That's crazy news. That's, a good or a bad story. And it's, maybe make a comment here and there. But when people are out there like, I'm ready to just completely rebrand because the space is not what I wanted off of like a singular event, it's kind of nuts. And then Whale.mocha had this comment regarding, again, the same happening, saying it'll be very interesting to see how Anime Chain, Abstract, and Bearer Chain ecosystems perform in the midst of all this. It feels like max grifting season right now with all the attention on one topic. Still, I hope we don't see any delays. I don't really, I don't look at it as you need to change any plans right there. It's just, as we've seen the attention economy, we've done streams for the whole year. You go back, click a random video for 4 months ago, whatever we talked about then is probably not relevant at all today, but it was made a big deal of at the time because there was nothing else to talk about. Bored and Hungry. Listen, they got a new mural, a new restaurant. Cool to see that the BOIC brand is still being used on some of these bigger restaurants. And apparently they're working with like a big, very well-renowned chef for creating this menu and being a part of it. So curious to see what ultimately that looks like. Now, over the weekend as well, how to buy crypto. Apparently, the Google searches for that just hit an all-time high. So people are aware of the industry, good or bad. And then I saw this from Eric the Blue. Strategic Shadow Wolf Reserve. This is like one of the secondary or thirdary collections for Cool Cats. Cool Cats had a ton of different art collabs back in the day. I still have one of them, if you guys didn't know. But the Shadow Wolves was something that they launched as well. And just seeing all these NFTs in one bunch, I'm just like, damn. If these guys do a token, that's nuts. And that's the thing for every single collection you look at right now. You see a whole bunch of Azuki wallets, you go, okay, well, hold on. How much stuff are they going to get? Because what we don't have anymore, and maybe you guys have been aware of this, is we don't have the people that are doing companion collections anymore. Like, okay, elementals drop for Azuki. Sure. Let's say that one happened, right? That was a couple months ago. Huge debacle. Floor ended up getting rinsed on Azuki. Now it's back because of the token. But we just do not see people doing secondary collections the same way that we used to. Remember, Bored Apes, they did the Mutants. We can go down the list of almost every collection that's out there. There's one or two, Pudgies, and then Lil Pudgies. We don't have those secondary collections anymore, so I'm curious what it's going to look like for these mass onboarding experiences. Now, thinking of Doodles, they did the Doodle boxes, but now they're hyping the token out, and you can see that because they only have one collection that's specific for that, it's absolutely sent them. Now, we talked with Shen earlier, and he did go into the AI agent.run component, but it was, in the interview, he talked a little bit about Mikey and Jesse, and it says nothing really changed for him and what they're working on, but the vision around everything is something they really, really believe in. So it was an awesome session with Shen. And he's also kind of saying, launching sooner than you think. So does that mean this week we get to see what AI agents look like? So Coinbase is in the news right now for pretty much all the wrong reasons. So this is basically 24 hours ago, but Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says the team is working hard on scaling up. There is a lot of activity on Solana right now. Apologies for the trouble, which is then turned into this huge question of what's going on for the liquidity. Is this an FTX situation? Is there something that's actually bad, or are they insolvent? And Harry Swan, shout out Mr. Harry Swan, saying, so it's obviously not Solana that's the problem. Hey, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase, please figure your shit out. Waiting over 28 hours for a withdrawal is absurd. Kind of agree, but there's all these questions now about what's going on because Coinbase is basically at a standstill with Solana transactions. Do you guys remember Anonymice? I need to go over to OpenSea to bring up Anonymice because I saw this on the timeline and I was like, damn, that brings back memories. This is a collection that at one point I think was trading for ungodly amounts. And right now they're sitting at, a respectable here, $463. But this is one of the collections that says CCO, no IPF, no APIs, just code, fully on-chain, generative NFT. And if we go back in the day at activities, you can see earlier on, these were going for about 3 ETH. And just crazy that over time, things just for whatever reason aren't as popular as they once were. Some big news also coming out yesterday saying Trump to sign new executive order easing bank ownership of digital assets, says Circle CEO. Okay, so the banks are getting involved now. That's positive, right? Bank of America CEO says the banking industry will embrace cryptocurrency if regulators allow it. So we're saying all the hassles that we went through when we're like, listen, we think this is going to be pretty big. It's completely wide open now. What do we do? And so much easier for the new people getting in. Insane. So when we talk about brands, we talk about Web3, and we talk about the connectivity of all of us, right? If we're holding hands, very nice. Handshake, the connectivity, we love it. But Pokemon is now bringing themselves back to McDonald's, which we saw the Doodle collab very shortly ago. But they have also components for the Pokemon trading card game, Pocket, and then collectibles in the store. I feel like we got this thing going on right now where the brand exposure and IPs that we like in general are going to get connected in wild ways through games, through things that we deal with every single day. Now, you might not be somebody that goes up to McDonald's every single day, but it just gets your mind going. And it's really cool to see these collabs in general. It also opens up more people for collecting. DC, what's going on? How we doing? Do you own any spot crypto, or are you all in on NFTs? So I would say I almost have more in crypto than I do NFTs as of right now. I think NFTs are in a weird spot. And I don't want to go on a rant or anything, but it does feel that apart from a few collections that are specifically art only, which Fidenzas would be in that category, CryptoPunks would, I guess, be in that category, or, avatars that don't have anything associated with it. I think the majority of newer-ish NFTs and even some of the old ones, like we're not old, but like we're talking like the 2021 main ones, is all of them are almost exclusively about yield and looking at the tokens. And they react very good if that is involved, and if it's not involved, then it gets put through the wayside, which is why we saw a lot of collections not really gain traction, just because they didn't want to go through the legal routes or extra effort to putting towards a token. Maybe they themselves are like, hey, you know, if we do a token, like, we don't know how successful that's going to be. But I think ultimately for a lot of NFTs, it's all strictly about the yield and or crypto tokens involved with it. So I feel like it's a weird spot, because some of them you'll get up front. Some of them it's on a point system. Some of them it's on a slow drip over time. Every ecosystem does it completely different. So I do still have some NFTs, but I think overall, like, I'd probably prefer like spot crypto right now. Now, going back to 2001, do you guys remember what these flyers used to look like? NASCAR Heat 20? I can't even say 20. 2002. Amped. Various games came out of that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Madden, Star Wars Starfighter. Remember the original? You had to buy like a thing to stick in your Xbox to make it turn into a DVD player. I don't even know how the hell that worked. Get Halo in there. Listen, the nostalgia is real. So here's food for thought that I think you would probably agree for the most part. Founder-led marketing is no longer optional. It's necessary. I kind of agree. I don't know that many times where I've seen somebody that's on a team represent that company and have even remotely the same impact as when like the head founder comes out and discusses it. Now, sure, that might be like an educational gap. Maybe it's just a personality difference. But I think truly, I mean, when you think of Bored Apes, right? When that Daniel guy used to be there, sure, he was the CEO and people were listening on everything. But I remember him and you could tell that he was reading off a piece of paper. And like, sure, it was a job for him. Sure, they probably knew a lot of things and just wanted to say the right wordings on certain components. But like when Garga's out there and he's talking about apes right now, it's like, okay, this is good. I want to hear from him. I don't know if I care that much about hearing from the rest of the team. And that's no disrespect whatsoever, but I think that's just where we are in 2025. So love this tweet from David. Guys in Toronto, it's feeling like minus 35. I went out a little bit earlier today. Holy shit, mushrooms. It's unbelievably cold. I'm never going outside again. The metaverse is the future. We're going to be online. Hopefully the power doesn't go out. We have heat. Canada is frozen. So we're going to stay in tonight. True. The SEC Crypto 2.0 acting chairman Ueda announces formation of new crypto task force. Okay. And this is like just released today. Today, SEC acting chairman Mark T. Ueda launched a crypto task force dedicated to developing a comprehensive and clear regulatory framework for crypto assets. Commissioner Hester Pierce, which was recently announced today, will lead the task force. Richard Gaber, senior advisor to the acting chair, and Taylor Asher, senior policy advisor to the acting chairman, will serve as the task force chief of staff and chief policy advisor, respectively. Respectfully. Love adding that to the end of it. Why is this all like just a whole bunch of jargon? Like, just say, this person's involved, everybody's got a fancy title. What do they do? Probably nothing. Anyway, drawing from talented staff across the agency, the task force will collaborate with commission staff and the public to set the SEC on a sensible regulatory path that respects the bounds of the law. To date, the SEC has relied primarily on enforcement actions to regulate crypto retroactively and reactively, often adopting novel and untested legal interpretations along the way. Clarity regarding who must register and practical solutions for those seeking to register have been elusive. The result has been confusion about what is legal, which creates an environment hostile to innovation and conducive to fraud. The SEC can do better. Now, if you've been watching my series regarding the Root Network, I talked to Jeff McDonald, I guess like a week ago or a little bit longer, and in that conversation, he specifically talked about how the SEC, the way that it worked before is you would submit the paperwork and all the stuff that they would ask for, they wouldn't give you a response, period, and then they would sue you. I was like, well, that just sounds terrible. But thinking of all the people that went through all this stuff and now it's, they're trying to create sensible things. It's insane how quickly this is changing. The task force focus will be to help the commission draw clear regulatory lines, provide realistic paths to registration, craft sensible disclosure frameworks, and deploy enforcement resources judicially. The task force will operate within the statutory framework provided by Congress and will coordinate the provision of technical assistance to Congress as it makes changes to that framework. The task force will coordinate with federal departments and agencies, including the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and state and international counterparts. We're not going to go through the rest of it because there's a whole lot of big words in there, but things are sounding good. True. And I saw this the other day. Listen, shout out G Honey. Yo, this is hilarious. So in like my gaming life, which I don't really stream games, maybe we will at some point, but League of Legends, Marvel Rivals, and when I talk with people, I say like my bruma, right? So it's like bro, but we changed it to just say like brew, like BREW, which also works like a drink. So bruma loud, see, just you have brew and then you add a whole bunch of things to the end of it. So G Honey went out and made this like AI rendition character that uses and speaks like me, but then it like asks questions. So here, it's a quick 10-second clip.
Hey, Broro Malowski, why you don't want to share your Pokemon domain purchases on the Root Network with your homies? Dang, bro. Leave me for dead.
Okay, so that was hilarious, but it's from the Replikant studio, which I was looking at Epic Games, and like when you click on it, it's 127 gigabytes to download this. It's 127 gigabytes to download. But the notable thing with this is this what content creation is going to be? When you have these characters that are likable, that are kind of funny, that have a voice, you just work on the text input. Hell, you could go out to Grok, ChatGPT, use something to generate all these things. Now, in this case, this is like a specific made thing because he was asking me about like what root domains that I got, and I said, I got like 1 or 2 Pokemon domains. He's like, well, tell me what they are, and I'm like, listen, I think they might be good, they might be bad. You never know what you're gonna know. But I thought that was hilarious, and that app is apparently free, but they have some paid versions with that, so I want to mess around with it, but holy smokes, 130 gigabytes to use. Oh my goodness. So to go way back, this is hysterical. So this got brought up to me today regarding the Asylum Hall's Genesis, and this was a collection you might be familiar with, but let me just play the clip and we'll go back through it. They were unrevealed at a point, and for whatever reason, all over Twitter and X, people were saying there's a connection to Larva Labs. And they're the creators of CryptoPunks. And so everybody, not everybody, but there was a fair amount of people that were like, okay, maybe this is true. Of course, it wasn't, but still, it got the attention of pretty much the entirety of Twitter and or X. Price goes up to 0.15. You can see that there was 2,000 sales at the time for that. Think of new NFTs that launched. 2,000 sales in one day. That is crazy. Obviously, people see the reveal and they're like, there's absolutely no way whatever the hell this is a part of Larva Labs. But because the unrevealed was there and the narrative was spun, that's how we got to where we got. They were unrevealed at a point. Insane. Also, if you're listening on audio, right, and you're paying close attention, you can hear that my mic popped all the time, and that's why we had to get the pop filter on here. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Yo, Jeremy, thank you so much for coming through on the sub. 48 months. Holy shiitake mushrooms. Stately Wayne Manor, listen, us and a little bit behind there, but 46 is unreal. Amanda coming through on the 48 as well. Yo, tied with you, Jeremy. You guys are insane. I very much appreciate the support, as well as Buffalo Space, the one and only Buffalo Soldier. 33 months. Insane. Again, guys, if you are wanting to support the stream at all, Twitch subscriptions on YouTube, I have like a thing set for like $1.99 if you want to support the stream and become a member on that front. But Holly, thank you so much for coming through. Stately Buffalo, yo, Jeremy, you're the best. T Doge, appreciate you sharing all the stuff all the time. In DC, good to see you. Hope to see you again. Enjoy your evening, everybody. See you tomorrow. Peace.